Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, underneath Commander General Yohana, and we are not affiliated with any Israelite group, any other Israelite group. Salakia. Tonight's topic, man, we're going to go into something very heavy, man. Tonight, we are going to go into the history of Israel's slavery, man. We're going to go into the history of our slavery and how our history is found in the Bible. We're going to go into how our history is found inside of the Bible. One of the most horrible things to ever have to happen to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian is recorded here in the Bible. We're going to go into some history on it to let you know about some of the horrible things that these oppressors done to us. You know what I'm saying? Because today's class is a history class. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to bring out and show you. We're going to show you how we were in captivity, you know what I mean, back then and in captivity now. You know what I'm saying? We're going to show you how we were servants in Egypt as well as in America. You know what I mean? Because this is something that they don't really like to talk about, how we were slaves. You know, it's a book I had they don't like to tell you about how we were slaves back then, you know, in Egypt. Sluggy. They don't like to talk about slavery that much. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to talk about how we were treated in ancient. They don't want people to know that the same slaves that were in ancient Egypt are the same slaves that got put into captivity in America, in Europe, in Trinidad, in Tobago, in Jamaica, in Cuba, and Brazil. We are the same people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to pull it out of the Bible and show you something that your church doesn't like to tell you, something that America doesn't like to tell you, something, you know, the pastor is most definitely not going to tell you. He can't have you reading these things out of this book, man. If you tuned in to class tonight, if y'all could, man, if y'all tuned in to class tonight, I want y'all to go to the book of Deuteronomy, man. Go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1, if you can. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. And it reads, it says, "And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day." All right, so, you know, this right here is showing the Christian church who was with Moses, because everybody likes to put the Bible with them. They like to incorporate themselves within the Bible. You know, everybody say they're a Christian, you know, the Bible is for everybody, and, you know, we all can be a part of this, you know what I'm saying? But this is what they don't understand. The Bible was never meant and intended for everybody. Everybody didn't have to suffer like the nation of Israel did, which are today blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had to suffer like we did, but everybody wants to be a part of this covenant. But this is what they don't understand. The Bible has never been given to any other nation on the face of this earth. You know what I'm saying? This is why it says this right here. And it says, as Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. Because Moses was only speaking to the nation of Israel. Moses was not speaking to the Egyptians. He was not speaking to the Chinese, to the Japanese, to the Caucasian race. He wasn't speaking to these people. He was only speaking to the nation of Israel. And Moses told us that we were supposed to keep the commandments even to this day. You know what I'm saying? And when it means to this day, that means even now. You know, we were supposed to still keep these commandments even to this day. But look at us now. Does it look like we're keeping any of God's commandments? You know what I'm saying? Does it look like we're doing what God has told us to do? You know, when he says don't eat pork, don't eat shrimp, don't eat crab, don't eat lobster. We're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, you know, the Most High has put these curses upon Israel. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians suffer so horribly in America. This is the reason why we're in these conditions, because we were supposed to keep God's commandments. Even to this day, man. Like, we're not supposed to be doing what we want to do and following these other nations and everything. We're supposed to be keeping these commandments. Now, if you go over to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, in verse 15, 28 and 15, we're going to show you what would happen to a certain particular race of people if they didn't listen to their God. What the heck is going on? All right, Salaki. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. And it reads, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So, you know, this is letting you know, right here, it's a particular people, man. If they didn't listen to the Most High, that curses were going to overcome them and take them over, man. That they were going to be destroyed by curses if they didn't listen to what the Most High told them to do, man. Their God. You know what I'm saying? There were sins, there were things that were going to happen to them if they didn't listen to their God. All right, so I'm going to get to you and show you. I'm going to show you in the Bible what was a particular curse that would happen to the children of Israel if they didn't listen to their God, man. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68, and it reads, it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, everybody thinks when they see this word Egypt in the Bible that it's talking about the land of Egypt. But if you want to find out what the word Egypt means in the Bible, go to the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1. So you can get a better clarification on what it means when it says Egypt in the Bible, man. And what Egypt means in the Bible. Because the land of Egypt wasn't called that back then. It was called Mizraim. But this is what the word Egypt means in the Bible. And it reads, this is the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 1. Well, I'm going to start at 2. The book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 2, and it reads, I am the Lord the Most High thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. So this is the Most High letting us know that he's our God. He's the person who brought us out of the land of Egypt. Even though Moses was there, but it was actually the Most High, our God, who brought us out of the land of Egypt. He used Moses to help bring us out, but it was the Most High who brought us out of the land of Egypt. All right? And it also reads, it says, I am the Lord thy God. So like I am the Lord, I am the Most High thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So this is what Egypt means. Egypt means the house of bondage. Bondage only means slavery. So what this scripture is saying is the Most High brought us out of the house of slavery, because Egypt was the house of slavery for the nation of Israel. We're going to go into that too in the history and show you the horrible things that happened to us. You know what I'm saying? And how we're still suffering to this day, just like our ancestors were in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And how we going to tie this all in together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and read this. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And I'm going to read the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, 68 from the top again. And it reads, And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So now we know what the word Egypt means. Egypt means the house of bondage, the house of slavery. And the Most High is telling the nation of Israel, if we wouldn't listen to him and keep all of his statutes and his commandments, that we were going to go into the house of slavery again with ships. So we were going to go into slavery a second time with ships. You know what I'm saying? Anybody tuning in the class tonight, let me know, what nation of people do you know who went into slavery by the means of ships? Let me know what nation of people went into the house of slavery on ships. All right. I don't know if anybody tuned in the class, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer the question. The people that went into slavery on ships were blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I did a class last week showing you the history of Thanksgiving and how in Thanksgiving, Native Indians, also Seminole Indians, Hispanics were put into slavery and sold on slave ships, man. They were brought to England, all type of different places. They were put into slavery. The transatlantic slave trade didn't start with the tribe of Judah and Benjamin and Levi. It actually started with the so-called 10 tribes, which are the Latino brothers and sisters, man. The Native Indians, the brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, Cuba, all of these various places, Brazil. The transatlantic slave trade started with those people first. They got put on ships too. And it's people out there who love to say that Native Indians and Mexicans are not Israelite. But there's history showing you that these brothers and sisters got put into slavery on slave ships. Their history can be found here in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, their history can be found in the Bible on how they suffer underneath these curses as well, just like we do. When you turn on your TV, do you just see black people getting killed? They don't like to put the so-called Hispanic brothers on national TV like they do the so-called blacks here in America, because they know if you found out how we're suffering the same, how blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians are all suffering the same thing, you start to put two and two together. You start to realize, like, hey, they suffering just like we suffer. This is why when you go to school, they don't give you the true history about how Native Indians got put into slavery, how they had to serve hard bondage and pick cotton and pick all these various how they had to pick these various fruits and vegetables, how the brothers in Mexico had to build the churches for the Spaniards when they came over to build churches and houses. And you wonder why you got all these nice buildings when you go down there to Mexico, when you see all these nice buildings and all of these historic buildings, it's because they had our Mexican brothers down there in slavery as well. Another good movie that I seen that I picked up on some things on was a movie called Zorro. It's an older movie. It was an older movie that I watched, and I seen how they did our Hispanic brothers in that movie, how they tried to slide it in, and how they had our Hispanic brothers in slavery, how they had them working in mines and caves, getting diamonds and getting golds, and how they had them chained up and put them in cages. You know, they suffered the same thing we have. The Hispanics, the Native Indians suffered the same things that we have suffered, man. You know, we're not alone, and it's like everybody loves to say, you know, you got some black people, oh, Native Indians, they don't suffer like we suffer. Mexicans ain't our brother, they don't suffer like how we suffer. Listen, those Hispanic brothers, those so-called Hispanics, them Latinos, those brothers in Mexico, those brothers down there in all of these various places, those are our brothers, man. Those are our brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? Those are our people. Those are our family, man. They're suffering just like we're suffering, man. And you love to put down the so-called Native Indian brothers, man. You love to put down the Hispanic brothers, man. You like to put them down and act as if they're not our people, and you love to say, oh, man, you know, they're not suffering like we're suffering. They ain't going through like we're going through. But let me tell you something. They're suffering just like we're suffering, man. They're catching the same hell, man. They're catching the same hell that we're catching. They're getting murdered. They're getting shot in the streets, man. They got put into slavery just like we did, and this is recorded in the Bible, man. All right, I'm going to go back and read this from the top again. And like I said, when you look into the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2, you find out what the word Egypt means, man. You find out that the word Egypt means slavery. That's what the word Egypt means in the scriptures, in the Bible. It means slavery. So I'm going to read this from the top again, because I'm telling you about the history of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian. Our history of being slaves in Egypt, and our history of being slaves in America. All right, I'm going to read this some more. I'm going to start from the top again on Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And it reads, it says, "And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way wherefore I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you." All right, so now, like Deuteronomy is saying, it's telling you that these people, the children of Israel, were going to be put into slavery on ships, and they were going to be sold unto their enemies for slave man and slave woman. And when it says no man shall buy you, you look at the old Quaker word for buy, it means redeem or save. Nobody was going to save us. You look at the condition of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians now. Look at our conditions now. Who has saved us from the hell that we're catching in America? The hell that we're catching in Mexico? The hell that we're catching in El Salvador? Ecuador? You go down to Salvador, you go down to Nicaragua. Our people down there suffering. Brazil, Jamaica, Cuba. Come on, who saved us from this hell, man? You go to Haiti, man. Our Haitian brothers are living in straight hell. They're over there right now eating mud pies, man. You got mud, they eat mud cakes, man. They literally getting dirt, mixing it with oil, put a little sugar in it, and making mud cookies, man, just to eat so they can survive. Because there's no food over there, man. Haiti is poor as hell, man. And that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you about how our Haitian brothers and our so-called Jamaican brothers and the so-called Negroes, we were all together at one time, man. We were in Africa together when they came and gathered us and took us into these various parts and put us into slavery. That's what they don't tell you. They don't never like to bring that up because they don't want us figuring out that we're the same people. They don't want us putting two and two together and figuring out that we're all suffering the same way from the same person. They don't want you to know that. They want you to continue to be lost, blind, just do what you want to do. Go have fun, smoke your weed, drink. That's what they want you to do. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want you to find out this truth. They don't want you to find out that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians suffer the same curses, man. That we're all going through hell and suffering, man. So this is one of the curses right here. One of the curses were that we were going to go into slavery again on ships. And what was the first place we went into slavery at? Was in Egypt, man. And I'm going to bring up some history and show you how our slavery was in Egypt, man. All right? If you in class tonight, man, go to the book of Exodus. Ooh. And we're going to start at Exodus 1 and 5 so you can kind of get the understanding of what we're discussing. All right. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 5. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob, was 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. So now we're discussing about how Joseph, which was Jacob's son, his youngest son, how he went into Egypt and became vice president, like vice royal over Egypt. And when he became vice royal over Egypt, he brought his family into Egypt. And 70 souls came into Egypt. So out of them 70 souls, we're discussing now how all of those people died. How Joseph died, Jacob died, all of Joseph's brothers, which are the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, they had passed away. So now we're going to continue to show you what happened after Joseph passed away, and then the progenitors of the 12 tribes of Israel passed away, and how we are now how we were in Egypt at this time. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 7. It reads, it says, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. So after Joseph died, and Jacob died, and the progenitors of the 12 tribes of Israel died, which was Jacob, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, which was Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. After they died, their children lived. They had children. Their children had children. Their children had children. And it's saying that when we was in Egypt, we were fruitful. Like we were having babies in Egypt. Like it was nobody's business. Just like now in America, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are fruitful. You can't leave us alone. You know what I'm saying? You let the laws of the Most High come back into existence where brothers can have more than one rib, man, our brother would have 15 kids by himself. Brother would have 15 kids, man. That's why America doesn't push polygamy. They love monogamy. They don't want us to push polygamy. They don't want brothers having more than one wife because they know that we'll do the same thing we did in Egypt. They know that we would be fruitful and increase abundantly and multiply and wax exceedingly mighty, man. They know that. They don't want that. That's why they have child support out there to make brothers stop having children. That's why they have birth control for the sister so we can stop having children. And it's not unlawful for a sister to have birth control, but Esau put a lot of these things in place so we can't multiply. That's the reason why he wants us to be poor. He puts the drugs in our neighborhoods. He puts the alcohol. He put all of these various things in our neighborhood to destroy us so we won't have so many children. That's why he has the abortion clinics open, man. And we're going to compare and contrast on how Egypt was back then to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and how America mimics the ways of Egypt, man. How they do the same thing that the Egyptians did to us back then, how they do it to us now. All right, I'm going to keep reading. All right, this is verse 8, and it reads, now there arose up a new king of Egypt, which knew not Joseph. So now we're discussing about a new king who came after Joseph. After Joseph died, a new king arose. And he didn't know nothing about the great things Joseph had did. All right? And it reads, verse 9, And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out the land. So now this is the new Pharaoh, man, the new king of Egypt, man. He didn't know about the great things Joseph had done for Egypt. He didn't know about how Joseph stored up the food for 7 years for the famine. He didn't know about those things. So guess what this evil bastard said? He said, you know what? These Israelites, these niggas, these spicks, these savages, they are starting to grow mightier than we are, because we were having children. And you know how we are as Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know, we have strong brothers. We have strong sisters. And, you know what I'm saying? We got wise brothers, man. You know, look at the football arena. Look at the soccer fields. Look at the boxing arenas. It's filled with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We dominate things. And we were doing the same thing in Egypt. We were just more powerful than these nations, man. Slack. Yeah, we were more powerful than these Egyptians, man, than these Hamites. Because I'm gonna show you who these Egyptians were, man. How we were not the same people. Now, this is the Zondervan Compact Dictionary, man. This for you, man. I'm gonna show you who these Egyptians were, man, and who they came from, man. All right, this is out of the Zondervan Compact Dictionary. This is the definition of Ham, and it reads: Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races. So this is Ham. Ham became the father of the dark races. All right, you look on the earth now, there are many dark races. But let's find out what particular race of dark-skinned people Ham became the father of. All right, and it reads, it says, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. So Ham, who was the forefather of a dark-skinned nation of people, he was their forefather, but not the Negroes. Who were the Negroes? Blacks, Haitians. You know what I'm saying? Jamaicans. We fall all in that category as being Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Like when they always called us Negroes. Negro people, Negroes. Look at these Negroes. Look at these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Ham was the forefather of the dark-skinned race of people, but not the Negroes, not African Americans. But let's see who he was the forefather of. It says, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians. That's the first thing it says right here. Ham became the forefather of the Egyptians. So what this is saying is, I'm going to go ahead and click it. That's what I wanted to get y'all to know. That Ham was the forefather of the dark-skinned nation of people, and he was the forefather of this dark-skinned people, which were the Egyptians. The Egyptians were a dark-skinned race of people, rather than what America likes to push. They were a dark-skinned race of people who had another dark-skinned nation of people in slavery, brown-skinned people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They had us in slavery. You know what I'm saying? But these were not our people. These Hamites were not our people. They weren't our family. They weren't people who we got along with. They were terrified of us. Like he said, like Pharaoh said, he said, they're mightier than me. They're greater than me. They're stronger than me. You know what I'm saying? They're starting to populate more than us. And we have to get rid of them. We have to do something, man. We got to get these people out of this land. It's no different than what America does to us now, man. Like America sees how great blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are starting to get, so they got to come up with all type of diabolical things to do to try to rid this land of us. You know what I'm saying? They try to think of all type of ways to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know, they want to get rid of the Hispanics. What do? They set up ICE. They put up border walls. They flood their towns with drugs and guns and all type of wicked things. How do they get rid of black people? They put drugs in our community, guns in our communities, abortion clinics. How do they destroy the Native Indians? Flood the reservation with alcohol. Put them on a reservation in the middle of the desert and allow different people to come kidnap their daughters, man. Kill them on the land and do all type of sick, crucial things to these people, man. America's no different, man. I mean, America is no different than Egypt. The Egyptians done the same thing. All right. I'm going to keep reading. And it says, verse 10, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they're falling out a war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of the land. And that's why the Egyptians had to be wise with things that they done. They had to figure out wise ways to get us out of their land. No different than what America does to us now. They figure out wise ways to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And they do it so slick, you wouldn't even know about it, man. Like, they got the abortion clinic, which kills over 500,000 black, Latino, and Native Indian babies a year. But they made it so slick that they don't say that this is the slaughterhouse for black, Hispanics, and Native Indian babies. They just said, oh, it's Planned Parenthood. You know, you trying to plan, you didn't have time to plan your parenthood, but we can help you with that problem. We can, we can take your baby away from you and you don't even have to worry about it no more. But abortion is murder. You know what I'm saying? They start finding out ways to deal wisely with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in Egypt. And America has done the same thing. They find out different ways to, to destroy us, man. All right. I'm going to keep reading. And it says, verse 11, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithon and Ramses. All right. So, they put taskmasters over the top of us, man. And this is what people don't understand. The taskmasters were our own people. No, that's how they were able to deal wisely with us. They got our own people to be taskmasters over us, man. No different than now. We got black taskmasters now who rule over us, man. They're in the Christian church. They're in the politics. Some of them are your entertainers. You know what I'm saying? They always sitting back, hey, we need to vote. Don't fight back. Don't fight. When every time one of us get killed, you always got somebody like that Uncle Tom, Al Sharpton, who stand up. Y'all like, we got to stop, y'all. We can't burn down our own buildings. We have these taskmasters who rule over us by the hand of our oppressors. You know what I'm saying? Like these Christian pastors, they're taskmasters. They're the ones that tell us our task. You know what I'm saying? Black people, we got to come together. We got to pull ourselves up. We can't blame nobody for this. We got to get jobs. Sister, if he ain't doing what he wants you to do, kick him out that house. Because Esau, our oppressor, has put them as our taskmasters. No different than what the Egyptians did back then with our people, man. With the high-ranking rich people of our, the rich of our nation. They set them as taskmasters to rule over us, man. To keep us calm. To keep us working. To keep us being slaves. That's what they did when they assigned these taskmasters over us, man. And what did we do when we had these taskmasters? These taskmasters afflicted us with burdens, man. Till where we got to the point where we were building all type, we were building treasure cities for Pharaoh. No different than what we do now in America. Look at all these treasure cities, man. Who built up New York? Who built up California? Who built up Texas, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia? Who built up these places, man? It wasn't the so-called oppressor. It was black Hispanics and Native Indians who built up these treasure cities. You go to Las Vegas, man, and you go to Las Vegas, you looking around, you like, man, I ain't never seen nothing like this. Who do you think built these treasure cities, man? Because these are America's treasure cities. Just like Egypt had treasure cities, America has treasure cities, man. And you think this is crazy? You find out the history about Egypt. They even had a place called Memphis. No different than what they got in America, Memphis, where you could go and see the pyramids and all of these great things. You know, we made Egypt flourish, man. No different than what we do with America. We made these oppressors flourish, man. You know what I'm saying? We made them rich. We are their entertainment. We in the boxing rings, in the basketball gym, man, playing football, playing soccer. It's no different than what they was doing to us in Egypt, man. All right, and I'm going to keep reading. Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. So this is Pharaoh. He's trying to oppress the hell out of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. But the more he did that, the more we start having babies, man. Because where they don't understand is you work us to death. You work us so goddamn hard, so like it. You work us so hard. When we go home, guess what we're going to go do? We're going to go in that bed and lay down with our women. And we know what happens when Israel lays down with their women. She wakes up with twins. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get afflicted more, we go home, we rest, we drink, we eat, and we have children. It's no different than now. Imagine if sisters didn't have birth control in America. How many children do you think some of these sisters would have, man? Know what I'm saying? How many babies do you think these sisters would have if there was no birth control in America or in Jamaica, Cuba, and all of these various places? How many children do you think we would have, man? We would have tons. We would have a small army, man, of brothers, of righteous brothers and sisters, man, who don't want to smoke weed, who don't want to sell drugs, who don't want to be a part of this place. They just want to serve the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It's like it. And that's what these oppressors knew, man. They knew that they had to oppress us, man. They knew they had to oppress us heavily, man. Salaki, my bad. They knew they had to oppress us, man. But the more they oppressed us, the more children we started to have, man. It's no different than when we was in slavery. They were destroying us in slavery, man. But the more that they did that, the more children we had. And you wonder why back then you might see a family back in the early 1900s and the 1800s, even in the 1900s, you know, even in the late 1900s, like the 30s, the 40s, you know, you had brothers and sisters. You had sisters back then having 10 and 15 children. And we were being, you know, we were being afflicted to the max, man. We're being afflicted heavily. You know, we were still being treated horrible in different places. You know, brothers were still getting lynched. Sisters were still getting raped. You know, the KKK was in existence. But it was like the more they oppressed us, the more they afflicted us, the more we had babies, man. No different than now, man. Like now, you leave that brother alone with his rib, and she has no birth control, in a year she gonna have 5 kids. So like, I'm just over exaggerating, but she's gonna have a lot of children, man. Because we multiply under stress, man. You know we might be living through hell and working, but we try to go home and spend time with our family and our kids, and you know, we lay down with our ribs, and you know, we do what grown people do, and guess what? We have more children. We have more children in our affliction, man. And the oppressors can't seem to get that and understand, like, how are these people still having children and we're doing all of these things to them? We're shooting them down in the streets. We're putting drugs in their community. You know, we're locking up their men, killing their sons. We're doing all this, but yet they still continue to have more and more babies. That's what child support is about, man. Child support is designed to make men stop having children. That's what it's about. They got the birth control and the abortion clinics for the sisters, and they have child support for the men. They know that we're poor already. They know that we're destroyed already in this land. And they know a poor man can't take care of his children that much. And then guess what they'll tell you? Oh, if you can't take care of the kids, don't have no more babies. When the Most High wants us to be fruitful and multiply. The problem is our people are fell victim to this system and think the way that they try to push their laws and statutes and what we should do and what we shouldn't do on us. Like they tell brothers, you shouldn't have this many kids, sisters, you shouldn't have that many kids. They want us to be like that, but it doesn't work, man. Brothers still have children. And when we have children, guess what they do, man? They try to put out the child support to make us stop having kids. Because when a brother be on child support for 2 and 3 kids, man, he's telling himself in the back of his head, like, I'm not having any more kids. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to produce. I'm not going to, no. I'm about to go get fixed. I don't heard brothers say that before. I'm going to get fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're some kind of dog or animal. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happens when you got this bastard ruling over you with his taskmasters, man. You get to a point where you get forced to where you just be like, you know what? I ain't even about to have no more kids. I'm done, man. I don't want to have no more kids. I don't want to have to continue to be put on child support, struggling, being destroyed in this land. I don't want to see this sister, you know what I'm saying, destroyed, and just going through horrible conditions here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do her like that, man. That's what oppression does to you, man. It makes you not even want to have children, man. That's what happens. But guess what? We still have tons of children, man. You know what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters still having children, and it's a blessing, man. It's a powerful thing in the eyes of the Most High to see his children having, his kids, the children of Israel, still having babies, like Hispanics, man. They so-called Mexicans, man, good night, man. They have a lot of children. It is a glorious thing to see, man. Just like Jamaicans, so-called Benjamites, they have a lot of children, man. That's just us. That's just who we are, man. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 12, it says, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Verse 13, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. I'm going to get that definition of the word rigor for y'all, man. So like it. Oh, come on, phone. So like, you gotta bear with me with this phone of mine. The word rigor means the quality of being extremely thorough, exhaustive, or accurate. Well, it also means, harsh but just treatment or action. They serve a cruelty, cruel circumstances, hardship, and then they give you some more examples: famine, strictness, hardness, a severity of character. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much what they were doing was, man, they was doing what America does to us, man. Starving us out, not feeding us, killing us in the street, beating us down, doing all of these horrible things to us. You know what I'm saying? This is where America gets that type of, wage from. Enslaving us, beating us down, killing us. They get this from ancient Egypt, man. Because in ancient Egypt, Pharaoh did the same thing to us, man. You know what I'm saying? They made us serve them with harshness, like slaves, man. Did us horrible, turned us into slaves, man. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, and mortar, and in brick, and all manner of service in the fields. Good night. So we were building cities and working in the fields in Egypt. Does that remind you of something? Does that remind you of something, man? Just like how we had to do in America, where we had to build buildings. build these various things, and we had to work in the fields. The same thing that happened in Egypt happens in America, man. America follows the ways of Egypt, man. You know what I'm saying? Slack, give me a minute right quick. Salakia, my bad. But America does the same thing that Egypt does. That's why when you look on the back of a dollar bill, what's on the back of a dollar bill, man? A pyramid. A pyramid is on the back of a dollar bill, man. And it's not by coincidence. It's not by coincidence that there's. It's not by coincidence that there's a pyramid on the back of the American dollar sign, man. On the back of the American dollar bill. It's because they do the same thing Egypt does, man. They copy the ways of Egypt, man. They do the same things that the Egyptian does. All right? And just like when we was in Egypt, they made our life bitter. And that's what America does to us. That's what they do to us in Jamaica. That's what they do to us in Cuba, in Haiti, in Puerto Rico, in Brazil, the UK. They make our life bitter. Just like the oppressors in Egypt did us, the oppressors in America do the same thing, man. They make our lives bitter, man. And they make us, bitter with hard bondage. It's hard slavery when a brother has to go to work at these plants for 12 hours, man. You go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You go to work, you get to work, it's 6:30. You at work, you get up at 5, you be to work by 6:30. You at work to 6:30, you don't get off until like 5:30. It's already dark outside. You don't spend your whole day slaving for these oppressors, man. When you get home, what do you want to do? You want to relax, eat something good, drink a cold one, and go to sleep. And then you got to wake up the next day and do the same thing again, man. That's bitter, hard bondage, man. That's hard bondage, man. When sisters have to leave their families, man. Children just got out of school. The sister would love to spend time with their kids. But sisters got to leave their children, go to work a third shift job, go in at 7, don't get off until 7. When she gets off, she got to take the kids to school. If she's not married, she got to take the kids to school, then try to get some rest, then get up at a certain time to get the kids from school, bring them back home, feed the kids, make sure they don't done this and done that. Maybe have to take them to a babysitter while she goes to work. And she has to do that day by day, man. We are hell, man. This is bitter, hard bondage, man. It's no different than what happened to us in Egypt, man. What's happening to us now in America happened to us in Egypt, man. Give me a minute right quick, y'all. Slucky. Phone froze up again. All right, I'm going to keep reading, man. Forget it. All right, I'm going to keep reading. And it reads, verse 14, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick and all the manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was rigor. Everything we did, man, all the service that we were doing in Egypt, man, it was harsh and cruel, man. No different than what America does to us now, man. They're harsh and they're cruel to us, man. They shouldn't even, the way that they do us, man, you wouldn't even do a dog, man. They do us so horrible, man. Good night. I'm going to keep reading. Verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. Verse 16, and he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. And that's how wicked Pharaoh was, man. He wanted our own sisters to kill our sons when they were born, man. Because this is what Pharaoh knew. Pharaoh knew something that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians still haven't came to a realization, unless you're here in the ISUPK. They haven't came to a realization that if you want to destroy a nation of people, take out their men. Get rid of their men and you slow down the reproduction of their people, man. You can stop it. Because without a man, without a black, Latino, or Native American man, guess what? You can't have black, Native Indian, and Latino kids, man. Because who's giving that woman that seed? That black, Latino, or Native Indian man. And when she gets pregnant, guess what? She produces a black, Latino, or Native Indian baby. Because that seed belongs to that man. That woman carries that seed for 9 months, and then that seed she has that seed. And that's what Pharaoh knew. That's what these oppressors now they know. Pharaoh knew if you want to stop these people from populating, take out the men. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the sisters to kill our babies as soon as they came out of the womb, man. And he was willing to pay this sister, man. Pay both of these sisters. Listen, if you kill all the men which are born from these Hebrew women, these Israelite women, these Hebrew women, guess what? I'll reward you for that. You're going to be all right. But they didn't do it, man. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do it. These sisters were strong, man. These sisters did something that a lot of our sisters need to do today, man. They did something that a lot of our sisters don't do, man. They didn't kill these babies. They didn't take their hands and participate in the murder of black, Hispanic, and Native Indian babies, man. And the next scripture is going to tell you why. All right? And it says, this is the book of Exodus chapter 1, verse 16. And this is after Pharaoh. This is what Pharaoh said. He said, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. Verse 17. But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. So this is what the sisters did. Rather than fear men, like how America wants everybody to, these sisters feared the Most High. Because the scripture says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And these sisters had enough wisdom to know not to kill these babies. They feared the Lord so much, the Most High gave them, they had enough wisdom to know, like, listen, we can't kill these black, Hispanic, and Native Indian babies. We can't do it. I don't give a damn what Pharaoh says, sis. We can't do it. And these sisters didn't do it, man. This is why you see these sisters in the Bible, man. Because what they did was so powerful, man. They didn't allow these oppressors to persuade them to kill the babies, man. And that's the problem we have now here in various parts of the world where black, Hispanics, and Latinos and Native Indians are located. We're able to be persuaded, man. We're vulnerable as hell, man. We're easily persuaded people. And these oppressors, how do they persuade us to do all of these various things like robbery, rape, abortions, all of these different things, especially abortions? How do we get tricked? How do our sisters get tricked into believing that abortions is the way to go? They trick us by telling us that we're too poor to raise this baby. In some other cases, you have you have brothers also who are just so goddamn wicked, who just go around whoring around, doing what they want to do, and don't want to take responsibility that they kill the children, they kill the babies. They do exactly what the oppressor wants. They're so persuaded. They was like, listen, I ain't gonna never be able to get no money if I got this baby. He'll go $400, go kill the baby. And sisters be the same way. I ain't gonna never be able to do my career in life if I have this baby. Send me the money to kill this baby. And they do it. Like these abortion clinics, they are a carbon copy of what Egypt would do to us, man. But these sisters right here, they didn't kill the children of Israel, man. They didn't kill God's chosen people, man. They didn't do that. These sisters didn't do that, and our sisters out here in the world, man, you shouldn't do that. You should read this scripture, man. Read this part of the Bible, man, and learn how powerful these sisters were, man. What these sisters did, this is what these sisters did right here. Pharaoh came and told these sisters to kill all the sons of the Israelites, of Hebrews. That is the equivalent of President Donald Trump coming to your hospital, and he pulls two sisters to the side, and he tells them, I'm the president, you know, right? Now, I want you to start killing these black, Latino, Native, Indian babies. And these sisters look back and say, no, we're not doing it. That is the equivalent of what these sisters did to Pharaoh. I have to, these sisters right here, man, this is why their names are in the scripture. Because what they did was so honorable, man. They looked at the eyes of an enemy of our people and told them, we're not gonna do it, man. We're gonna save the children. And that's what these sisters did. They saved the nation of Israel from being slaughtered by the orders of Pharaoh, man. All right, I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 19. And it reads, and the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are slacking. Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done these things, and have saved the men children alive? Verse 19. And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women. Good night. Like this is the sisters even telling Pharaoh, we're not the same people. Our women are not like our women, man. And you can tell that now, man. Our women are not like these other nations, man. We're not like these ancient Egyptians, man. Our women are more beautiful, man. More smart, very intelligent. You know, very humble, man. And so these midwives are telling Pharaoh, man, because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptians women. In no type of form or fashion, no. This is why I don't understand why sisters be walking around here with the Wakanda haircut. All their hair gone, and they just got a part going around the side of their head looking like a racetrack, man. Good night, man. All right, and I'm going to keep reading. It says, and the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come to them. So they was telling them, like, you know, by the time we get to the women, the Hebrew women, Pharaoh, they already don't gave baby. They already don't have the baby. They had it baby. By the time the midwives come down there to help deliver the baby, guess what? They come down there, only thing is, when? She don't have the baby. They're like, damn, you just told us like 15 minutes ago we was on the way down here. I don't have the baby. I can't hold the baby anymore. And they told Pharaoh, our women are not like your women. Nothing. Nothing at all. No comparison, nothing. And these sisters told Pharaoh this, man. Honorable sisters, man. Powerful sisters. And like I said, this is like sisters looking at the president and telling him, you know, we're not going to go to the abortion clinic and work and kill black and Hispanic babies. This is what these sisters did, man. All right, and I'm going to keep reading. It says, Verse 19, and the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come unto them. Verse 20, therefore the Most High God dealt well with the midwives, and thy people multiplied and waxed very mightily. So the Most High, seeing how honorable these sisters were, by not killing our babies, man. And the Most High rewarded these sisters, man. He dealt good with these sisters, man, for what they did, man. Let that be a learning lesson to y'all, man. When you don't kill your babies, the Most High rewards you for that, man. For being honorable, man, and stepping up and doing something the Christian church will never do, man. It's like this phone, man. Salaki. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 20. Therefore the Most High God dwelt well with the midwives, and thy people multiplied and waxed very mighty. Verse 21. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. Verse 22. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall live. So Pharaoh was such an evil bastard, man. He got mad at the sisters because they didn't kill the baby. So Pharaoh started telling his own people, he said, I'm going to charge you. I'm going to charge all my people, saying, every son that is born, ye shall cast them in the river, and every daughter ye shall save. So Pharaoh still wanted our sons to be dead, man. Pharaoh was throwing our children in the river. Our sons, throwing them in the river. Does that sound familiar? The murder of babies, does that sound familiar? Murdering innocent babies, does that sound familiar? Like I said, America does the same thing ancient Egypt does, man. Ancient Egypt killed our sons. America comes back and kill your whole family. They don't want to just kill the son. They want to kill the son and the daughter, the little daughter, before they're even born, man. All right, I'm going to keep reading. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 1. Slacky, I'm going to go down. All right. Now I'm going to go into the book of Exodus. I'm going to start at chapter 2, verse 11, man. I'm going to show you what Moses seen in the land of Egypt with black people, man. What he seen with Hispanic people, what was happening in these different parts, man. What Moses seen with the so-called Latinos. This is what Moses seen, man. All right. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 2. The book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 11. And it reads, and it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of them. So this is Moses. This is Moses, you know, they love to tell you that, you know, he came down some river in some basket and stuff like that. Okay, cool. But what they don't tell you is Moses knew he was an Israelite. Moses always knew that he was an Israelite, man. But they love to tell people that Moses didn't know, you know, something crazy happened and he found out he was an Israelite. But what they don't know is Moses already knew who he was. That's why it says what it says in this scripture. It says, Moses, read it again, it says, and it came to pass in those days that when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burden and spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. So Moses already knew that he was a Hebrew. He knew that these were his people. Don't let these movies that they show the Prince of, is it the Prince of Egypt? The Prince of Egypt. Don't let these people make that movie and make you think this is what happened to Egypt. No. It was hard work for us, man. For blacks, man, Hispanics and Native Indians, not having much food, you know, struggling, going through hell, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Moses seen what was happening to his brother, man. He wanted to see what was going on with us, man. All right. And he said when he came to Egypt to check on his brothers to see how they were doing, he said he seen an Egyptian beating the hell out of one of his brethren, man. He's seen it. He walked, he spied on the Egyptian. What are you over there doing, man? This Mo was beating the hell out of our brothers, man. Do you know what that is called today in America? That is called police brutality, man. When you're getting beat by a law enforcement or officer, man, you just getting beat down in the streets. Everybody looking while you get beat. Today, that would be called, like back then, they did the same thing. But today, that would be called police brutality, man. Where police beats you down in the streets. Or shoot you in the street in front of your family and your kids, man, because he's scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, America does the same thing Egypt does, man. The same thing. Nothing has changed. Nothing. We're still in hell here in America, man. We're still slaves, man. You have to think about what I'm telling you right now, what I'm reading to you, man, out of these scriptures. I'm showing you how what happened to us in Egypt happened to us again in America, and we're still suffering underneath these curses. You wondering why we can't get ahead. You wondering why we don't have our own this, our own that. You wonder why. It's because, we're cursed, man. They're treating us the same way the Egyptians did us, man. They're doing the same thing, man. All right, and I'm going to keep reading. And it says, verse 12, and he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. So this is what Moses did. Moses seen his brother getting beat by the cops. Moses came out there OG status. He looked one way, looked the other way, and went out there, and he killed that Egyptian, man. You know what I'm saying? He killed that Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? Slacking. He killed the Egyptian. Then he buried the body, man. Moses was on some OG mafia stuff back in the day, man. Moses kill you and bury you in the damn sand, man. So like, okay. I'm going to keep reading. Verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strode together. And he said to him that did the wrong, why further smitest thy fellow? So Moses went out the next day. After he killed this Egyptian, he went out the next day. He went back out to Egypt again the second day. But this time he went out, he didn't see a police beating on the brother. This time he seen 2 brothers fighting out there, man. Does that all sound familiar to you, man? Us being put into slavery, having to work hard, and then also have to do all of these other things, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense to you, man, that, you come out there, you see police brutality and black on black crime, brown on brown crime, you see Gadites, Native Indians fighting on the reservation. This is also in the Bible, man. The same thing we did then, we do now. We were fighting against each other back then. Over what? Ain't no telling. We were fighting each other back then. And then we start doing the same thing now in this land. Every time you go to a club, you see brothers fighting each other. Brother can't tell you, brother can't say nothing about you being wrong without getting punched in the face by him. You barely can tell the brother, hey, brother, I wouldn't do that. He gonna hit you right in your mouth. He gonna punch you right in the mouth and you're gonna be looking crazy. It's because we are, you know what I'm saying? Because America does the same thing that Egypt done to us, man. America just mimics Egypt to the max. To the max. I'm talking about, man, America, they do everything that they do, but times 10. That's what America do. America does everything times 10 compared to what the Egyptians did. The Egyptians did as horrible too, but man, these stinking devils, man, they do us horrible, man. I'm going to keep reading. Verse 14, and he said, so I'm going to read from 13 again. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strode together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? Verse 14, and he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? And intendest thou to kill me as thou killed the Egyptians? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. So it's just like what we did in the Bible, we do now. You know what I'm saying? Like Moses trying to come break up the fight. First thing brother said is, what you gonna do? This is what he pretty much said. What you gonna do? You gonna do me like that so and so that you killed and put in the land? You gonna do me like that? That's how you gonna do me? You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna do me? You gonna kill me and bury me in the sand too, dog? Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And when Moses heard this, Moses was like, how the hell did he know about this? Because what Moses didn't know is black people are nosy, man. Issachar, 10 tribe, they nosy, man. When we see something, you know it's going to get passed down from different people all the time. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody seen Moses kill that African, guess what? Everybody starts snitching. Everybody started telling this person and that person. And by the next day, Moses knew that everybody knew about it. He knew that everybody knew about him killing this Hamite, man. All right, I'm going to keep reading. And it says, verse 15, now when Pharaoh heard these things, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by the well. Verse 16, now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters. And they came and drew water and filled the throats of water their father flock. Let me see, can we find out? You know, the Midianites, man. I wonder if it got it in here. Let me see, can I find this in here? Slugging. That's just me slugging. All right, and it reads, and now the priest of the Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled their throats to water their flocks. Verse 17, and the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. Verse 18, when they came to Reuel their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds. So this is more proof showing you also, Moses was dark skinned, man, because these Midianites thought he was an Egyptian. That's why I went to Ham to show you the definition on how the Hamites and the Egyptians had dark skin, but they were not our people. And notice what this Midianite said. She said, and they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds. So they thought Moses was an Egyptian, was an African. That's what they thought. They thought Moses was an Egyptian. They thought he was an African. But he wasn't. He was a Hebrew. All right, I'm going to keep reading. And it says, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter, and she bare him a son and called his name Gershom. All right. I'm going to read the 23. And it came to pass in the process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel, cited by reason of their bondage, they cried, and their cry came up unto God by the reason of bondage. All right, so, man, you know, they started doing this horrible in Egypt, man, with the slavery. They started doing this real bad, man. They started beating us, killing our children, doing all type of horrible things, man. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than what goes on today. All right, I'm gonna get some more scriptures for y'all to show y'all, the slavery on how it was for us in Egypt. All right, I'm gonna leave it right there with that, man. I'm gonna keep reading some more, man. This showing you what we're supposed to do, man. All right, if you paying attention, man, go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 7. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 7, and it reads, "Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee the elders, and they will tell thee." All right, so, this is what this was telling, man. It's telling us how we supposed to remember the days of old. And what are the days of old? Their history. And that's what we're supposed to remember as Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian. We're supposed to remember the history on what happened to our forefathers coming to America, dealing with America. What happened? Who were we before then? We're supposed to, hold on to this history, man. Remember how these devils did us in these streets, hanging us from poles, putting us in slavery, raping our women, raping our children, selling them into sex slaves, all type of horrible things. We are supposed to remember these things. We're supposed to remember the history on how our forefathers in Egypt had to suffer at the hands of our people had to suffer at the hands of these Egyptians. We had to be brutalized. We had to be murdered. We had to watch our sons be, tossed in the river, man, because Pharaoh wanted that to happen to us, man. He wanted us to build all these great cities for him and just be good slaves. No different than what America wants us to do. That's what they want us to do, man. America wants us to be good Americans. They want you out there with your 4th of July shirt on, celebrating America, being good, being happy. That's what they want, man. But this is what they don't understand. Everybody gets tired, man. Even the slaves, man. Even the slaves get tired, man. But not with America, man. They just beat the hell out of us and make us work more and more day by day, man. All right, let me get some history from y'all, man. My phone don't start freezing up. All right, I'm just going to go back to the curses, man. The curses are found in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, man. You start from 15, and I'm going to show you these curses that are upon the children of Israel. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 36, and it reads, it says, "The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known." You know what I'm saying? The Most High said that he was going to give us to a nation of people who we didn't know and our fathers didn't know. All right, I'm going to keep reading. "Unto a nation which neither nor thy fathers have known, and there shall thou serve other gods, wood and stone." So this is the scripture showing us, man, like, since we wanted to be so wicked, man, the Most High made us serve wood and stone. Does anybody have an idea what the wood means and what the stone means? I'm going to give it to you for time's sake. The wood is the Christian cross, man. The wood is the Christian cross. You had some of our people trying to worship the damn totem pole at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? But this is America, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, good night, man. I'm going to read that again. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 36. And the Most High shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shall thou serve other gods, wood and stone. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Most High said, we're not supposed to serve other gods. You know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to do all of these various things that these other nations do, man. You know what I'm saying? The Most High saying, if we gonna do that, hey, I got something for you if y'all want to be evil, man. All right, I'm going to read verse 48. And it says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and the want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. You can use this with the native Indians, man. How when they came to the native Indians, the so-called Caucasian race didn't have anything, man. They didn't have anything. They was in the wintertime eating each other. Whoever died got ate. Put it like that. If you had just, man, like, man, listen, man. That is horrible, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, to serve your enemy is horrible. And our brothers and sisters, man, the tribe of Gad, which are native Indians, they tried to help us, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have been there for us, man. You know, we help each other out and everything, but the Most High said, man, we were going to serve our enemies, man, that he sent against us. And everything that we want, we got to come to these same people who we serve, who we're in slavery to. When you want, like, this is what people don't understand. When you want something done, guess who you got to go through? Even if you want to open your own business, guess who you have to go through? You have to go through the oppressors, man, to get these businesses and everything situated, to get your life together, man. You have to go through these devils for everything, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to go to these devils for everything, man. All right. Verse 47, and it reads, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. So since we didn't want to serve the Most High back then before we got put into slavery, the Most High, you know, he just let these curses overcome us, man. Because he tried to give us a chance and a time to redeem ourselves and just serve him, man. But we didn't want to listen to him at all, man. So he told us, this is what's going to happen to you if you ever decide to not talk to me no more. You know, if you don't want to serve me no more, guess what happens to you? I'm going to let all of these curses come upon you, man. You're going to have balls on the bottom of your feet playing around with the Most High because you don't want to listen. You want to do your own thing. You want to listen to what pastor told you to do. You want to do that. No sweat. That's why the Most High lit these curses on Israel, man. That's why he lit these curses on us. That's why you see us in these horrible conditions in this land, man. That's why we so messed up and we can't get right. You know what I'm saying? It's because we don't want to listen to the Most High. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 49. The Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. So the Most High saying that, you know, we don't listen to him, guess what? You know what I'm saying? The Most High said we didn't want to listen to him, so he brought a nation against us. A nation who exalt themselves as the eagle, man, flight. You know what I'm saying? A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. What nation of people consider themselves for eagle to this day? What nation of people still consider themselves for eagle to this day? Those people who do that, man, I can give them to you. I can give you some names. You got Slovakia. You got America. You got what was Hitler from? Germany. You know, these people, you know, do all these things like I was talking about, man. You know, they carry the eagle as their bird, man. As their national bird, the eagle. Like if you a black man and you kill an eagle, You're going to get so much time, you're going to regret it. You're going to get so much time, you're going to regret it, man. Because that's America's bird, man. America is that eagle, man. America is that eagle. All of these various Edomite nations, man, these Edomites, man, those are the people who exalt themselves as an eagle, man. All right? I'm going to keep reading. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And we didn't understand these oppressors, man. We didn't understand their ways. You know what I'm saying? We didn't understand, how could you be so evil? How could you be so diabolical? How could you do these things to us, man? How could you? All right, I'm going to keep reading. I'm trying to find some more scriptures. All right, I'm gonna start at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28, and it reads, the Most High shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of the heart. So the Most High is saying, man, that he's going to smite us with these various things, man. Like, we're going to be crazy out here wherever he sends us to and find out that we're sinning against him. He's letting me know, man, like, it's going to be crazy. Like, if you're trying to order, you try to do these various things, the Most High said, man, I'm gonna make you just be out of your mind, man. All right, verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth at darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Because that's what's going on now, man. That's what's going on in America right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are spoiled. We are spoiled in this land, man. We are destroyed, man. Nothing is good if it's spoiled, man. You don't like spoiled milk, do you? You don't like spoiled cheese, spoiled cereal. You don't like that. So no people should be spoiled. But here in America, we are destroyed, man. We are spoiled, man. We are destroyed, man. We get treated so horrible here, man. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous how we get treated here, man. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind grope in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. And shall build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. So this is just showing you movement. Like, brothers are going to marry your wives, and another man is going to have your wife, man. No different than back then. It's going on now. Like, brothers are married to women, and guess what, man? Another man lies with your woman. Adultery is a curse from the Most High, man. Sisters going out here dating brothers when they already have men, that is a curse, man. That is a curse in the Bible. All this adultery going on is a curse from the Most High, man. You wonder why you see so many black women, sleeping around, so many Hispanic women sleeping around, cheating on their man, because they're underneath that curse and they don't know how to fix it, man. The only way you can fix it and fight these demons off on you that are trying to take over you, man, and want you dead, is if you come into the ISUPK and learn how to change yourself, man. You got to come inside the ISUPK and learn how to change yourself, man. How to be different. How to do what the Most High wants you to do and not what you want to do. That's what this is about, man. ISUPK are saving lives, man. Waking our people up, man. That's what the ISUPK is doing, man. So like it. Damn, phone froze up again. Slugging. And that's what they're doing here in America, man. They just, good night, man. They just do us so dirty, man. Like, these are the curses, man. This is our history, man. The horrible things that we see happening to us in America is a part of our history, which is located in the Bible, man. The adultery that goes on in this land, it is found in the Bible. It was a curse that was going to overcome us, man, since we didn't want to serve the Most High. All right, and I'm going to keep reading. Verse 32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. What this is saying was that our kids were going to be taken away from us, our sons and our daughters, man, and we were going to grope, man. We were going to cry day and night, man. We were going to cry day and night. Yo. Shalom, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, our children were going to be taken away from us, man. And, you know, we were going to miss our children, man. Our children were going to be taken from us and be given into another people, man. You know what I'm saying? This happened to us back then with slavery, and it still happens to us today, man. It happened to us today, and it's called DSS. Back then, they would just take your children, man, and give them to the slave master. They did this with black, Hispanic, and Native Indian children, man. They didn't just do this with blacks, man. When you do the research like we have done in the ISUPK, you find out that there were tons of Native Indian children that were taken and put into slavery. There were tons of so-called Latino babies taken and given to another people, man. And good night. You already know what happened to blacks, man. They took our children, man, and gave them to another people, man. And they still continue to do that today. And the bad problem about it today is a lot of our people support it. A lot of our people support these devils taking our children and giving them to another people. Today is called abortion clinics. Not abortion clinics. Today is called adoption. Or it's called DSS, where DSS come into your house and take your kids and give them to another people, man. And you just be longer. You be looking at you be wanting, where my kids at, man? Where are my children? I want to see my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a sister, for instance, man, it happened to her, man. And I tried to explain it to the sister that is a part of the curse, man. These devils took their sister kids, man. And day and night, man, her eyes, man, she just be looking for them. And they fell with longing for them all the day long, man. And all the night, man. And there's no might in her hands to get these children back. She's tried to get these children back, man, but she doesn't. It's no strength in her hands to get them back, man. She doesn't have the power to get her children back, man. The same thing that happened to us in Egypt is still happening to us in America, man. You ever wonder why we're suffering and going through so much hell, man? It's because we went through this in Egypt and we continue to go through it now, man. All right. Let me keep going. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. So the Most High was telling us, man, he's like, we were going to have children, man. We're going to have kids. But even our damn kids were going to go into slavery, man. And we're not even going to be able to enjoy our kids. That happened to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. That's our history. Our history was our children being taken away from us, being given to another people, and our children being put into slavery. Children have to come out there with their mothers and fathers and pick fruits and vegetables and cotton and work and build houses. That still happens today, man. You still see so-called Mexicans, which are from the tribe of Issachar, with their children out there with them working, man. When they go to build houses, their children are even with them building houses and everything, man. You go inside of these plants. I know a plant where the brother worked at and all of his kids worked there with him, man. He couldn't even enjoy his damn children, man. Same thing with our Hispanic brothers, our Latino brothers, man. Our brothers be wanting to enjoy their kids. Our sisters be wanting to enjoy the time being with their family, raising their kids, cooking for the kids, doing these various things. But we're such slaves in this land that we can't even enjoy our kids, man. We can't even have a good time with our kids because even our damn kids have been sold into slavery, man. Even our kids are captives, man. Even our children are slaves, man. That's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm going to keep reading verse 45, and it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearken not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. So, these curses were going to overtake us, man. They were going to overtake us and destroy us, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we see now, man. It's a nation that is over us, man. They just destroying the hell out of us, man. Killing us, man. All right, and I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to show you some more things in here, man. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54, and it reads, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead. That scripture is so heavy, man, because that happens in the Black, Latino, and Native Indian communities, man. Our brothers, man, our eyes have turned evil to our own brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? That brother that used to be nice, man, to all of his people back then, not anymore, man. Now, this brother's going to be evil towards his brother and towards his wife, man. This brother's going to... What's the evil that our brothers do to their women these days? They beat on their women, man. Beat on the women. Black on black crime. Brown on brown crime. That's what's going on with our people right now, man. We're evil to one another. And you ever wonder why? It's because we're underneath these curses. You wonder why we got so much black on black crime, brown on brown crime. You know what I'm saying? You wonder why you got so many CDVs going on. It's because, not CDVs, that's CDV when the criminal domestic violence, con. You wonder why we got so much CDVs going on in our ghettos, man. It's because we haven't decided to serve the Most High. We didn't look back at the history and what happened to our people and came to a realization and understood that this is us, man. Right. This is us. We're suffering, man. We have turned evil towards our brothers and our sisters, man. You know what I'm saying? And y'all don't understand because the Christian church isn't teaching you these things. The Muslim mosque isn't teaching you these things. You're not learning it. Your kids are not learning this in school. You're not learning that the reason why we're suffering so horrible, man, is because we're not listening to the Most High, man. The reason why your father left is because he's underneath the curse of the Most High. We don't take the time to research this history in the Bible, man. Pastor has the Bible every Sunday, man. If he could break this down, if he would just stop being such a greedy bastard, man, he could save the lives of the people, man. But he's not going to do that. He's not going to tell you about the reason why you're in the condition or why your father left you and you just tried to figure it out your whole life. Why my daddy leave me? Why did my father leave us, y'all? Why he leave? It's because he's underneath the damn curses, man. It's because he's suffering. He's in hell. His eye has turned evil even to his children, man. That's why it's so important to be a part of this body, man. To come here and be a part of the ISUPK, man. All right, I'm going to keep reading. In verse 56, and it says, and the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye should be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, And this is even showing you, man, that sister that used to be so gentle back in the day, man, even she was going to turn evil amongst her own kids, man, amongst her husband. Man, you wonder why you see some of these sisters in the household raising hell, cussing out the children, you know what I'm saying, kicking the father out, putting them on child support, beating the hell out the kids. It's because she's underneath those curses, man. I'm not giving sisters an excuse to beat the hell out of their kids and leave their husbands, but I'm just showing you the reason why they do these things. I'm giving you the history that your Christian church doesn't give blacks, man. We're giving you the history that your school doesn't give you, man. We're showing you why our people are the way they are, man. It's because we're cursed and we're living through hell, man. All right, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 57, and tore her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and tore her children which she should bear. She shall eat them for want of all things, circly in the siege and strainers. You know what I'm saying? And that's what our sisters have done, man. You know what I'm saying? They destroy these babies, man. They destroy these children, these kids, their family, man. That's what they do, man. That's what our sisters have begun to do, man. Because they are underneath these curses, man. All right. All right, man. I'm going to go ahead and finish this class up, man. And with that, man, shalom. I'm going to read this. All right. ISUPK security announcements. We are the One West. It's like we are the ISUPK, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sisters. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They ought to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, number 18 through 21. Malachi 3, 8, and 10, you can find this in. It means 10th in the Hebrew. Ma'asharah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, get to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. It'll be the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah, the 25th day of the 9th month. It's like by the space of 8 days. This will be Wednesday, December the 9th, 2020 for 8 days. You can read about this in 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 52 through 61. All right? So like, remind Akim and Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, shalom.